Hello, hello. Welcome to the Mystic Path. This will be your Divine Feminine check-in. All right. We're going to use the Energy Oracle cards. At the end, we'll pull a Starseed Oracle for advice. For the reading, we're going to use the Dark Mansion Tarot by Tarotica Studios. Okay. And then if needed, we'll use the Rider-Waite, standard Rider-Waite for clarification if needed. I just did the Divine Masculine reading. Everything came out pretty clear, and I didn't need to clarify on that reading, so we'll see. There seems to be a lot of guidance today, and I'm pretty connected, so hopefully that will continue, right? All right. Let us clear the energy of the cards, clear the energy of the room and the space so that we can be a clear channel for the Divine Feminine messages. All right, what is the energy, the Divine Feminine Collective, please? What is the current energies for those watching, for the Divine Feminine? It's funny, a card just wanted to fly out, but then when I said for those watching, it went back in. That must not have been a message for those of us watching. What is the Divine Feminine energy? For those watching, anything else? They want one more, it seems like. Okay. Bottom of the deck, underlying issue, the garden and the gate. Oh, I hope you cannot see me on camera. My nose is itching like crazy. My apologies, but that means good reading, right? All right, Divine Feminines, what's the energy we're dealing with here for those watching? Ooh, in our power here, ladies. Angel of Strength. Goddess of the Moon. Rest and rejuvenation. And I just want to remind everybody, these are general messages for the collective. If they don't resonate with you, do not make them fit, right? Part of the reason I always show the cards to the camera is because I'm just a facilitator, and if you get a different message than I'm relaying for this card, then that's a message from your guide specifically for you, okay? So always, if you get a message that contradicts what I'm saying or even goes along with what I'm saying, you take that message, because that's your guides just using this opportunity to get a message through, right? So I'm just like the facilitator. So just keep that in mind. If you're somebody who doesn't get a lot of messages because you're not super connected yet or a clear channel yet, that's okay too. I'm just pointing this out because I have had some questions before of like, well, what if when I look at that card, I get something different? Take what you're getting, because that's an individual message for you from your guides. And I just want to remind everyone, because not everybody realizes this, I don't think, that like our guides a lot of the time are future versions of ourselves. right? So it's like my higher self will come back and give me messages from the future to say like, you might not want to do that because that may turn out real bad or whatever, right? So do we get messages from others? Yes, we get messages from other spirits. We get messages from our ancestors. But a lot of our guidance and a lot of the guides that are always around us are future aspects of ourselves. So when we're getting guidance, like I had a friend once say to me, I'm not going to let my guides tell me what to do. And I chuckled because I have been on this journey quite a long time, and I understand at this point now that, you know, that's just your ego when you're saying that. I'm not gonna let my guides boss me around. Like, you're not letting somebody else boss you around. Those are actually messages from your soul for your soul, right? So it's not like somebody's bossing you around. And again, all guidance can be take it or leave it. But just keep in mind that part of the reason sometimes the messages resonate so deeply or hit so close to home is because they're coming from you, a version of you in the future. All right? Something to think about. Okay, now we'll get back to it. So this is real good energy to start this reading out in. We have the Angel of Strength, the Goddess of the Moon, Rest and Rejuvenate. So I feel like right now, feminines, or at least for those of you watching, the divine feminines, we're feeling in our power, right? Feeling strong, confident, in our power, and taking this opportunity to just kind of like rest and recharge because, you know, we all know to get to that place of being in your power takes a lot of work. So it can be an exhausting process, right? I've talked a lot on here before about how I go to therapy, and I think it's one of the best things in the world, and I think everyone in the world should be required to go to therapy as like a check-in, because, you know, it's really just an objective person that you can say whatever you want to. And sometimes what I've found in therapy is like, I'll have something that I have been saying over and over again in my head, and I'm like beating myself up, and I've in my head it feels like this really big important thing that like is gonna devastate the world, right? And then when I say it out loud in therapy, I realize, oh, that actually kind of sounds silly when I say it out loud, right? Because that's like I've built it up in my head and I've worked myself up to a point. Then you actually make it real and say it out loud, and you're like, oh, well, that's silly that I just spun myself out of control for no reason, right? So that's why I think therapy is so beneficial, and everybody in the world would benefit as just like a check-in. Like, you know, every couple months you go for like a check-in, and you get to kind of analyze yourself and reflect on the month prior, and then you kind of can see a little bit better, like, oh, maybe that's where I went wrong, maybe that's where I went right? And again, I don't care who you are, if you say you don't have problems or you're healed, you're deep in your ego, right? Because we're all constantly healing, we all constantly have work to do. Even me, I've been on this journey about 15 years now. I've been in therapy for like a decade, and I still have things to work on, right? Because it's an ongoing process. You're always a work in progress. The goal is to always be better today than we were yesterday, right? So I feel like it's really beneficial to like self-analyze and reflect, because you can kind of start to see like, oh, that's where it all started going wrong, right? right there at that point where I started telling myself that negative thing over and over again, or I started ignoring guidance I was getting, or whatever it is, right? Okay, so let's get going. I'll stop yapping here. Let's take a couple shuffles. We're going to do just like we have been doing lately, because I think they've really been working out well. We'll kind of do like a past, present, future, kind of where we're coming from, where we're at, where we're going. As far as the feminines, right? Where Where's the feminine coming from? Where is she now? Where will she be in a few weeks? Alright. Oh, I did mention the decks we're using, right? This is the Dark Mansion Tarot. It is so beautiful. You'll see. It's one of my favorite decks. A little harder to shuffle and pull cards though, because it has this really amazing soft, it's called soft touch, and it really is. It's like baby skin. But that makes the cards a little more challenging. They stick together. Okay. So, for those watching, where are the, whoa, okay, half of the deck. For those watching, where are the divine feminines coming from? Last few weeks prior, where were the divine feminines coming from? Last few weeks, last few prior weeks, where? Asking me to cut them probably so they can get to the cards they want, right? Okay, where's the divine feminine coming from? Okay. All right, bottom of the deck, Ten of Swords in reverse. So that's good. Means we're moving out of this feeling backstabbed, right? This guy totally backstabbed here. And in reverse. So completing a cycle, that's underlying issue is completing a cycle. It's not such a bad thing. Right, now let's see what we got here for where are we coming from? Queen of Swords. Okay. I'm hearing standing our ground. The Chariot. Queen of Wands in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse. That's like a wedding happening on this Six of Wands. Victory, right? The Six of Wands is usually about victory. In reverse, right? So, where we're coming from, where the divine feminines are coming from here, is Queen of Swords upright, the Chariot upright, Queen of Wands reversed, Six of Wands reversed. Okay, I feel like where we're coming from, the divine feminines are coming from a place of standing their ground in a intense manner. Okay, the Queen of Swords to me is always about like cutting out the things that don't serve us, speaking the truth that needs to be spoken, even if it's hard to hear, even if it's hard to say. Sometimes you have to do that, right? And the Queen of Wands is a little bit more about like action and passion and balance, and she's in reverse here. Like you can tell. See, we're going to put her upright just for a second so we can compare and contrast. You can see she's a little bit softer, even in the eyes. She's softer. She's more content. Look at her. She's like in her power, right? And this is in reverse. So a good reminder right, is the Empress, is all the queens together, right? A balance of all the queens. Well, the energy we're coming from here, Divine Feminine, is you're a little out of balance here. You weren't really in your power. I mean, okay. Let me be careful how I choose these words. Because if you're standing your ground and you're communicating your truth and you're being firm about it, that is being in your power, right? But I feel like what's happening here with this Chariot energy, you cut somebody out, you said some harsh truth, and you have been intense about it for a while now. No give and take, okay? That's why this Queen of Wands is in reverse. Instead of being in your power, speaking your truth, and being queenly, you're being a little rigid, okay? You're not, what I'm hearing is you spoke your truth, you're standing your ground very intensely, and maybe that's what needed to happen. But you got a little out of balance because you're not really listening, you're not really using the other lighter, softer side of yourself, right? So right now you're just deep in this queen, I will cut a bitch energy from the past. And you're not really in this open to forward movement queen. All right, so that's what I'm getting. Because that's where we're coming from. We're keeping, and then we have this wedding and victory in complete reverse. So it's like you're keeping yourself from a victory. This energy keeps you from any kind of a victory or any kind of like happiness and stability and forward movement because you're too intensely in your I'm gonna cut a bitch energy. So that's where we're coming from. That's that recent past energy, okay? So, it's understandable. Sometimes we need to be in that energy. Sometimes things happen in life or people actively do things that may require us to set a boundary and to put our foot down and to stand up for ourselves. It's just that we don't want to get stuck too intensely in that energy because then what? Then you're just like sitting as a queen in your castle with swords all around you and no joy, right? So that the past energy is kind of, we've been in this sitting in the castle. We spoke our truth. We cut a bitch. We had to. Okay? We felt, that's what I'm hearing. Divine Feminines felt pushed into a corner. Felt like they had to speak their truth. They had to be intense about it. But it did keep them a little out of balance. It did keep you Divine Feminines out of balance. Okay, let's see where we're at presently. Divine Feminine energy presently. Divine Feminine energy presently. Where are the Divine Feminines at presently? Feminine present energy. Where are the Divine Feminines at currently? Where are the Divine Feminines at? Too many? Just that top one. Okay. Where are they? Whoop. Present energy, Divine Feminines. Where are the Divine Feminines watching currently at? Interesting. I see what we got going on here. A couple of cards that flipped over in the deck because those are the cards I wanted. All right, any other? One more present. Present. Yeah, okay. I see it, this moon. Tried to jump out twice. Okay, so presently this is where, oh, this is good though. This is good. Okay, so presently we have 7 of Wands here. 3 of Pentacles. The Moon. Temperance. Okay, so it is good, because we are moving. Okay, we're coming from this pretty intense, I'm gonna cut you, don't you dare approach me, and don't you dare cross this boundary I've set again. Okay, that's where the Divine Feminines were at. It was throwing them a little bit out of balance, keeping them from their best victory, right? Now, presently, we have the 7 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, the Moon, and Temperance. So I feel like the good news is we're moving out of that energy. Now, don't get me wrong. We're still on guard, right? Look, we're still on the defense. This guy ready to defend himself against any betray. I keep hearing betrayal. So something happened lately, Divine Feminines, where there was some kind of betrayal, I think. And that's why you had to cut a bitch, right? That's why you had to put your foot down. You had to say, this is the boundary. And you had to be intense about it. It feels like you had to be intense about it. There was really no other way. Which is imbalancing, right? When you have to intensely go to one emotion and hold that emotion, that's tiring, that's exhausting, that does throw you out of balance, which is why the Queen of Wands was in reverse, right? So we are moving out of that energy, but not all the way. Like, okay, so 3 of Pentacles, to me, this is always about like collaboration, asking for help, looking towards the masters for guidance. This is what I get from this card. And so this is what I am getting, is we're moving out of this intense energy of like, I'm not effing around, I will cut you if you step over this line, into I'm open to listening and hearing others' perspectives, but I am still gonna defend myself if anybody steps over that boundary. All right? But also presently, what's balancing out that defense mode is Temperance and the Moon. Okay? So this is good. You can't, and again, you cannot go from I'm gonna cut a bitch energy to come on in, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm trusting, right? You can't. So presently, it looks like we're in that transition, right? We're still a little bit defensive. Divine Feminines are still a little bit defensive. Open to listening, though, and hearing maybe an apology, I'm hearing. But not letting anybody get one over on you, right? You are still on guard, and you're going to continue to stay on guard until you decide what your intuition wants you to do. That's what I'm getting presently, which is good, because that means that you're not reacting. You may be a little sensitive right now. You may be a little defensive. You may have your guard up a little bit, but you are leaning more on the side of open to listening, open to collaboration, and you are definitely have decided you will take no action until you sit with it in your intuition, and you sit with temperance and reflection to move forward, right? So that's very positive. I feel like whatever happened, and again, this energy at the beginning, we're in our strength, we're in our intuition, and we're rest. So I feel like something happened that caused the divine feminines to be a prickly pear, right? And now in the present moment, it's almost like, okay, what they're showing me is like, how in the ocean there are those blowfish and they're like completely flat or whatever, and then they blow up and then they're in a big ball, right? Well, what they're saying to me is you can't go from that big ball right down, right? That takes time then for that blowfish to like slowly go back to its original shape. So that's what they're showing me. You were just in a situation, you're coming out of a situation where you had to blow up and put all the spikes out around you and be the Queen of Swords. And now you're in the rest and rejuvenation. You're in the, let's drop into the intuition. Let's reflect and let's start letting that blowfish relax and not be so on guard. Okay? Let's see where we're going. Where are the divine feminines headed in the next 2 weeks, let's say? Where are the divine feminines headed in the next 2 weeks? Okay, Page of Cups. Chuckling because there's a few similar cards here that came out in the Divine Masculine reading as well, which means we got some mirroring going on, right? Where are the divine feminines headed? Future energy, please. 2 more cards if possible. Where are the divine? Okay. 1 more. Or not. Okay. No more. And the bottom of the deck, the Sun in reverse. Okay, and the Sun is the best card in the deck. It's all about healing, and it's in reverse. So our future energy, we're not quite at the place of healing yet, but we're getting there. Okay, because we have a new beginning card, Page of Cups, the Hierophant, and Death. Okay, so Page of Cups, we're moving back into our heart space. Like I said, the blowfish is starting to deflate, go back into our gut, our intuition, reflect, and start to be open to opening this heart space up again and healing. Okay. There's a new beginning coming and a new cycle. At the beginning, the bottom of the deck was the 10 of Swords in reverse, right? So that is basically a cycle closing. You're no longer feeling stabbed in the back. Healing isn't here yet, but it's coming. Okay? It's coming. It's not all the way here yet. So that's what I'm getting, Divine Feminines, is like something happened recently in the past, caused you to have to become a prickly pear and get up in your feelings and use that sword to cut out and set boundaries, the things that aren't working for you, right? That's what I keep hearing. Whenever I look at this Queen of Swords, I keep hearing, yeah, that's not working for me. That's what I keep hearing. So that may resonate specifically for somebody, may have specifically said in this situation, yeah, that's not going to work for me. Because that's what I keep hearing. That's not going to work for me. So she set a boundary. She used her sword. She cut a bitch. Presently, she's just starting to get out of that prickly pear, starting to go back into the intuition, do some reflection, start to open back up now. The future energy in the next couple weeks, you're going to start to draw back into your heart space. You're going to start to commit really to putting this behind you and moving forward, and you're going to start a new cycle of healing, right? Which will bring a lot of healing, just it's not immediate, right? You got to move into this new cycle. You got to get through where we're at now, draw back into the heart space, commit to putting this behind you and moving forward, and then moving forward, right? But this guy, he's still not, it's not like super fast moving action, right? So it's like I'm making a commitment. Both of these cards, the facial expressions are kind of like, listen, I know I can't stay stuck here. I have to commit to healing this and moving forward. But I'm not yet 1,000% excited about it. Neither one of these cards are like, yeah, it's not like the Chariot, right? It's not like, yeah, let's jump right in and start healing this. And that's okay, because our overall energy is we're relying on our strength, we're deep in our power, and we need to rest and rejuvenate, right? You can't go through something like this and then just, oh, I'm healed, everything is fine, right? No, there's got to be this period of healing. And that is why I think the Sun card is in reverse here. It's just because the healing is the process is starting. It's just not here yet. So, we're not all the way through it. And it's a process. It takes time, which we know, right? So we're going to pull from the Starseed Oracle now and get an advice card. And see... Advice for those watching. Advice for the divine feminines watching. Advice. Whoop. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay? What was I just saying about the healing? And then we got the advice is deep cellular healing. Arcturus energy. So that's the Arcturians. Physical and emotional healing. So let's read. It just makes me laugh because we're talking about how we're starting to heal and it doesn't happen overnight. And and then directly a healing card comes. Beautiful card. Okay. Okay. Your body knows how to heal. Healing is your natural state. Physical and emotional disharmony can be a reflection of how the world, inner and outer, has been out of alignment. If you're suffering from a mystery or chronic illness, don't allow yourself to think you've done something wrong. Today, it's difficult to navigate our health. If this card has made its way to you, you're being called to focus on your healing in practical ways. To prioritize your health, to be kind and tender to your miraculous body, to give yourself the grounding and the care you need, to put your body first, to nourish yourself as you would a newborn baby, to treat yourself with tender care. You may be called to switch things up with your body or your emotional well-being. To call in a team of helpers to support you in navigating any challenges you may be experiencing emotionally. The Arcturians are a galactic group of beings who have mastered deep cellular and emotional healing. They want you to know that it is possible to feel vibrant in your body and well in your skin, to have your cells return to the effervescence and vitality, to find calmness and contentedness, to have a soothed nervous system and a tranquil heart. And here's a little thing you can do. You can either take a crystal that you're drawn to and place it on your heart space, okay? Any crystals that would be good for that, rose quartz, any green calcite, green moss is another great healing stone, right? Green moss agate. Then we have an emerald. This is a raw emerald. This is also would be really good. So again, it could also just be a clear quartz, any crystal you have. You also don't have to use a crystal. That's just one method. Another method is to use your own energy. You can do that by, if anybody's seen Karate Kid back in the 80s, Mr. Miyagi, right? This is like a form of generating energy and a Reiki technique. You rub your hands, okay, and get them nice and warm, and then you place them on your bare skin over your heart space, okay, so that you're using your own energy to heal yourself. Now, you can do either one of those things. Once you either have a crystal on your heart space or you have placed your warm hand on your heart space, you're going to want to say out loud, I take back my vitality and energy and feel more and more healthy each and every day. My body knows how to heal. My body knows how to heal. I activate that healing now. I call in the Arcturians to aid my spirit in this healing. Okay. That is a direct message from the Arcturians to help us heal whatever it is here we're coming out of. Again, both of these cards are reminding us rest, rejuvenation, listen to our body, listen to what it tells you. If it's tired, rest. If it's anxious, exercise, right? Those are just some examples, but I feel like the Divine Feminine is being called to rest and heal so that you can have this new beginning, right? I'm wishing you all a wonderful day. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, weekend, week, whatever it is. Wishing you all the love and light, and hoping you have a wonderful little healing meditation. Namaste.